Hello, friends. Sergeant Host Eric here with Lieutenant Rachel, your local, friendly, type police people. Try as you might, you just can't hide, 'cause you're mistyped. And I've been waiting to pull you over all night. Type police, type police. Please pull that guy over. He says he's INFJ, but seems extroverted, sensing to me. I think he's ESFP or type police. And welcome back to the Type Police. This lady here, INFJinxed, we're going to see if she's jinxed in her self-identification as an INFJ to be thrown into the slammer, or if instead she'll prove jinx-free in that regard and be set free on her own recognizance. Let's find out by beginning by pushing play.
Today we're talking about a different perspective that I thought of bringing into discussion. It's not necessarily just typology based or just related to MBTI or Enneagram, but I think it's something that we should consider when thinking about this topic and using it for our own self-development and self-growth. And that is cognitive flexibility. I'm going to go into more detail about why I believe cognitive flexibility is extremely important here. But before that, I want to remind you guys that I also offer coaching sessions that are aimed at helping you engage in a process of self-awareness. I use a variety of tools from MBTI and Enneagram to other things such as communication styles, career aspects, relationship aspects, and so on and so forth. So if you're free and curious to learn more about that, please click the link in the description below, and I'm happy to talk to you about it. Anyway, let's get back to business. So I was mentioning at the beginning that I believe cognitive flexibility is extremely important. And why? Well, I've been reflecting upon how things are being presented in this community. And sometimes it bothers me because I notice there is a pretty big discrepancy between the way things are handled in the MBTI community or typology community in general and what psychology as a science or as a field of study usually suggests that we do and don't do. One of the main things that I learned is that no piece of research ever proves anything. No piece of research ever says that something is exactly in a specific way, because nothing really is black or white in this world. And now I want to bring into discussion the perspective of cognitive behavioral therapy and coaching in general, which teaches us that everything that we believe is limited, okay? Every single belief that we have, regardless of what it is about our type or about other people or about the world, it doesn't matter. Everything that we believe is limited. Why? Because we as human beings are not able to hold all perspectives into mind at once, because
Okay. Initial thoughts?
I'm thinking her NE is better than 6th slot.
Or fifth. She's going to be INFJ.
5th, yeah, I'm sorry. 5th.
Yeah, this is feeling and looking like potentially third or higher NE to me. Of course, the thing is, she's up on a very wrong track here, because the distinction she would need to make for this to be correct thinking where she's going with this is for her to understand that affirming a given statement is not the same thing as possessing a belief, and that to try to simplify it into sets of people as sets of beliefs is reductive fundamentally, because it ignores the fact that TI people like me who have high ambiguity tolerance aren't comprised by so much beliefs as either affirmations or negations, habitual or otherwise though they may be. So the notion that you can't keep all perspectives in mind, well, the fact is you can basically address all given arguments on a given affirmation or negation though. So that's a different question, and a much more meaningful question than whether or not a person can keep all perspectives in mind, because in the idea of keeping all perspectives in mind, there's no decision making via discourse, right? There's no elimination of certain possibilities as determinant on the question because they fail to meet certain criteria or whatever. And thus, knowledge is never in the service of anything. So this is not good thinking for sure, but that doesn't necessarily preclude her from being INFJ. But it's also not very good FE. Like, she sure does seem pedantic for. I mean, don't get me wrong. I know I'm pedantic, but I'm not claiming to be FE Tool, right? So I mean, I'm not condemning her for being pedantic. I'm just saying that doesn't seem very FE Tool to me.
What does the word pedantic mean?
It means like know it all. I'm here to lecture you about stuff. Like how I usually am. But that's not how you usually are.
No.
You're cautious about the extent to which you project positioning roles between the two people.
Very much so.
Yeah, and you don't really want it to feel as though the other person is positioning themselves as fundamentally the guru, whereas you are just the person.
Yeah.
So at least with TI, when I claim to be right about something, I'm saying I'm right about something right now based on the rules of this TI game. You can always still win by proving me wrong with finding contradictions, other different things you can possibly do. I'm not saying this is our immortal truth, right? So, now granted, when certain models become explained adequately with enough robust TI and extroverted intuition and whatever over time, and critiqued by the community and adjustment and so forth, then ultimately you come to what you might call the fundamentally correct explanation for something, and that's what happens with cognitive functions. But that doesn't mean that we've gotten every detail of it exactly right, or that we have every aspect of it transformed into some kind of applicable, like, algorithm, app, kind of recipe that everybody can apply and get the same answer from. This is official police hat etiquette. I'm supposed to put the bill of my hat up at least once during every interview to make the person feel more at home, more comfortable, like I'm just one of the guys,
Just one of the guys.
Yeah. All right, let's listen to more of this lady. I've done a lot of talking so far, and we haven't really done much about her type, except, well, I guess I did sort of talk about her type. Let's see what else she says.
We have a limited life experience. We have a limited bias that comes from our types, it comes from our culture, from our gender, from our education and upbringing, and so on and so forth. And yes, we can strive to become, wiser, more intelligent, more all-encompassing in our perspective. We can try to grow as individuals and work on ourselves, but even then, we will still not be able to know anything with 100% certainty, because nothing is black and white, everything is gray. And why I believe this is important in the field of typology? Well, because I noticed that there's so much drama and
Of course, this is absolute nonsense. Conditionality affords us the means by which we can know with absolute certainty, but it's within the confines of the definitional frame. So, if it is the case that this woman is an INFJ, then it is the case that I am a monkey's uncle. I am not a monkey's uncle, therefore we can logically conclude that she is necessarily not an INFJ. Assuming my premise is correct, then there's two premises there, namely the conditional statement and the fact that I'm not a monkey's uncle. Assuming both those are correct, then it is necessarily the case that she is not an INFJ. Now that is a black and white truth that's conditional, but nevertheless absolute. This rejection of that would seem to be a rejection of what is fundamentally a huge absolute value for INFJs, namely TI, consistency, logical black and whitiness, right?
Yeah.
So, and she just, in affect, she doesn't seem like an INFJ at all.
No, not at all. She seems very assured of herself, and like, she sounds kind of like an activist. Like, here I am telling you my words about an INFJ, and I hope that it affects you, so that you, as an INFJ, can move on in life.
I don't even think she's saying this to INFJs. I think she's saying this to everybody. She's saying, world, listen, you're being too black and white about this thing, and there's nothing we can know for certain, and blah, 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 everything's mush. Well, then shut the hell up, woman. Why should we listen to you? Everything's mush.
Right.
All right, let's give her some more chance. I'm pretty sure she's going to slam her, though.
And so much conflict when it comes to, oh, someone is this type, someone is the other type. Well, how can we be sure? We can never be sure of this. Currently, I'm interacting with a lot of researchers from the field of typology and people who have a lot of expertise in the field. And I noticed that sometimes even experts don't agree on someone's type. And why is that?
Even experts don't agree? And that would be the maximum kind of possible certainty we could have is when the experts all agree, right? This is just awful. The fact is, it is absolutely the case that we have a singular best explanation of typology. It is absolutely the case that we can fundamentally for sure prove, for example, that somebody's not a given type. We may not be able in all cases to prove somebody is a given type 100%. We can in some instances get very, very close to that if we understand it correctly and apply the mechanics of it correctly, and type people with a little bit of common sense based on those realities, then we'll come to consistent conclusions. We've got piles of actual typing sessions where we can see things that are converted into skills, as I've indicated, and this woman's trying to turn it all into mush. Now, I don't think that it's the case that somebody who's got the singular truth as a dominant function and TI black and white truth as a third slot absolute value function is going to be advocating for more mush. This sounds like somebody who's got those things in instrumental slots, like an ENFJ perhaps, or ESFP maybe, or, ESFP's got TI absolute, but it's polar. ENFP maybe.
I was thinking ENFP.
Regardless, she's not an INFJ.
Yeah, no.
She's so clearly an extrovert.
Yes. Like, if you compare her even to INFP, like Dulles, like, she's much more extroverted. I mean, just compared to me, I am constantly, like, in my head formulating what I'm going to say. She just knows what she's going to say and says it.
The certainty with which she states that nothing is certain, it just makes me so angry. It's like, do you not see the stupidity of your words as you're saying them? You're saying with such certainty that nothing's certain. It's like, oh my God. Use language well or don't use it at all when talking about typology, please. You are definitely going to the slammer. Even if Lieutenant Rachel were to disagree with me on this point.
I agree. I don't think you're an INFJ. I'm sorry about that, but I don't think you're an INFJ.
So, you're getting in the car. I'm not even going to push your head down, so if you do hit your head on the door, it's on you, lady. Okay? It's on you. Let me get the slammer out. Okay, because you need to hear the sound of the jail doors slamming behind you.
I also don't think an INFJ would call themselves jinxed.
I mean, you could successfully call yourself that, but you probably wouldn't anyway,
No, I don't.
There you go. There you go, lady. That's the sound of you behind bars. Why? Because you committed the typological crime of being wrong about your own type. You are not, today, nor have you ever been, an INFJ. Thanks for watching the Type Please, everybody.
Don't forget to eat plenty of cheese.
And you're welcome for us keeping the streets safe for typology.
Yes.
Try as you might, you just can't type, 'cause you're mistyped. And I've been waiting to pull you over all night. Type police, type police. Please pull that guy over. He says he's INTP, but seems extroverted, sensing to me. I think he's ESFP or type police.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching. See you next time. And please do leave your suggestions at the bottom in the comments for whom we should type police, because we will use that to guide our way going forward as best we can.
Yeah.
Thanks. Bye.